10,000 for your misfortune. I'd be a heavenly ghost today. And I thought I was mistaken, and I thought I heard you speak. Tell me, how do I feel? Tell me now, how should I feel? Now I stand here waiting.
And thank you, good evening, for joining us here tonight. Thank you for joining us here. We're on another lockdown, tell 10 to tell 10, retweet to retweet. It's Crackpot McDougall time, 27 minutes past 10. 27 minutes past 10 here. We're on another lockdown once again. Tell 10 to tell 10, retweet to retweet.
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the lights that lead us there are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. Because maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my Today was gonna be the day, but they'll never throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you're not to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead you there were winding, and all the lights that light the way are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my Wonderwall. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me.
And thanks for joining us here tonight, and we're phoning our man Kevin. Hello? Kevin?
Hello.
How you doing? How you doing, my man? It's Tommy here. Tommy in Glasgow.
Hello, Tommy.
How you doing, brother? Is it yourself as part of the EDL, Kevin, aye?
Is it myself a part of the EDL? Yeah.
How you doing, my man? Yeah, my name's Tommy Gold. I'm from Glasgow Radio Online. I was looking to conduct an interview with either yourself or Tommy Robinson, if possible. Tommy, obviously being the main public figure, but I mean, for yourself, I just wanted to get a chance to, as I say, conduct an interview with my radio show, if that's possible, Kev.
Yeah. When are you thinking of doing that?
Well, just now, if you like. Just now, if you like. And is Tommy available at all?
No, he's not, man. I just got the phone to him. He's busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your radio station called?
It's Glasgow Radio Online.
Glasgow Radio Online.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I'll
an
get
internet.
I'll get the PA to check. I'll get the PA to check you out first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. And then,
Well, listen, for myself, right, I mean, I'm here just to, I'm a straight talker. I've been phoning the nation's radio stations for years now. I decided to give up on the nation's radio because they're pretty, you know, unless They've got an agenda. They've got an agenda, and I'm against whatever agenda. And you're against them for whatever agenda you perceive them to have. But the reason why I want to do this chat with either yourself or Tommy is because I'm coming from the opposite side of the scale from you, Kevin.
You're coming for what, mate?
I'm on the opposite side of the scale. Myself, I'm a convert to Islam. I walked into a mosque about 12 years ago. But as I said, I bear you no ill will. I've got no bad feelings against anybody. And all I wanted to do was just to conduct a debate, just a chat, a friendly chat, if you can manage it. Because I know we've got differences coming from the opposite sides of now it's become a bloody, violent debate, and I just want to have a chance to sit down on my side of it. Was that, brah?
I said it's a bloody, violent debate all over the planet at the minute.
Yeah, well, this is it, my man. But I want to show, I want a chance to show that a Muslim like myself, I try to be a Muslim. I mean, I'm not the best, and I don't know if you're a Christian yourself. I don't know if you'd be claiming to be a Christian or the best of Christians. But from my background, I can sit down and talk and debate with anybody. And obviously, the pressure's been put on EDL. Can yous people sit down and talk and debate? Because I think they would show yous up instead of being just a mad radical band of people who want to, confront you. You're prepared to sit down, have a debate. Because I mean, I view the real enemy, the common enemy, as the government against us. I mean,
the government and the media.
Exactly. That's exactly. I think, mate. I mean, we're coming. They want to. I mean, if you phone the BBC, if you say, "Oh, I'm EDL," and I say, "Oh, I'm an Islamic extremist," they'll cream their knickers, saying, "Brilliant, we can now put together and create a fight." And that's all they want to do. But surely my goal is not to create a fight, is to create a bit of unity. I don't know what your ultimate goal is, but I would like to be peace. I would like to know that people can walk the streets without being murdered from whatever persuasion, Kevin. I don't know, do you agree with those sentiments?
I think, I think everybody in the whole country wants to feel that they can walk the streets of this green and pleasant land without fear of being decapitated.
Exactly. Because that one action, the minute I saw that one action, I thought, well, if this is turned out to be Muslims, then the Muslim community are going to be living in fear for a good long while. And now, as we're seeing now, just in the last couple of weeks, the attacks, the petrol bombs. So who's really benefited?
Yeah, but I have no sympathy. I don't condone the attacks, but I have little or no sympathy, the same as the rest of the nation, because mosques, buildings made of bricks and mortar don't bleed, they don't feel pain, right? They have no memory, they have no loved ones, they're just bricks and mortar. Whereas a 25-year-old soldier has a 2-year-old son, a mother, a wife, father, brothers and sisters. So when I start here, I've had this argument many, many times in the recent weeks. When I have Muslims phoning me up and trying to debate with me and trying to engage the idea that bricks thrown at a mosque is somehow a worthy combatant in an argument compared to a decapitation of a young man, unarmed, by 2 Muslim men. Who said
I was trying to equate it? I wasn't trying to equate that, Kevin. Maybe other people have. But, well, then what I would say to you is, would you agree then that if you petrol bomb a place, a mosque or a place there, it might only be bricks and mortar, but is that not a form of terrorism, that the people who frequent this place will be worried that maybe the next time when there's a petrol bomb attack from someone, maybe they might be in praying it? Is that not a form of terrorism by attacking bricks and mortar, Kevin?
Well, bricks and mortar remain bricks and mortar. I've been petrol bombed 3 times. Is that not an act of terrorism by Muslims?
Well, of course it is. Of course it is. Whoever did that. Did you not flee in terror? Were you in the house when it happened? Did you flee in terror? If you did, then that's an act of terrorism.
So, it's an individual, it's a personal state of terror, whereas you have a national state of terrorism, and then you have your personal terrorism. You're being terrorised individually. But when I argue with this point and debate this point with Muslims, they keep trying to come at me with the same point about, but the Muslims are being attacked. I said, what do you mean they're being attacked? I said, you mean gossip and rumours about hijabs being pulled off women's heads? That's just gossip. I said, you're talking about an Islamic community centre that wasn't a mosque. It was a community centre that was being used as a mosque. It was listed, it was dilapidated, and conveniently enough, it gets burned down. No damage, no harm. And now the builders are in and they're getting a great big mosque built worth millions or whatever. Are you trying to argue the point that somehow compares to the savage butchery?
No, I'm not. Of course I'm not. But it seems like you're excusing it, Kevin. It seems like you're excusing it. You're just saying it's a bit of bricks and mortar and they're going to get this and that out of it. It seems dangerously close that you're excusing a violent act against. You might say it's only brick and mortar, but do you think you can go and walk out and firebomb a place and get away with it? If you're going through something at a building, you're going to end up jail for it. Surely, Kevin, that's a form of terrorism.
Well, how can it be a violent attack? It's an empty building made of bricks and mortar.
Was people using it at the time? Was it used for Muslims to congregate, to pray, to have meetings at any point, maybe during the day, during the week? Of course. But it was still a community centre, that's what I'm saying. Now,
there was no human beings in the building.
So that makes it okay then. You can just go and throw. You can.
But you cannot even enter it. It's the same universe.
I'm not. I've never tried to. You try to put words in my mouth, and I'm just saying to you now. It sounds dangerously that you're equating. You're saying, oh, it's okay. It's only bricks and mortar. So that's dangerous to saying that you accept it. It's we can petrol bomb anything.
If no one was there to be terrorised.
You're really missing the point.
It's a warehouse.
Okay.
If somebody burns a warehouse down, it's not an act of terrorism, is it?
Is it not?
What, if somebody burns...
You admitted that your place was burnt down 3 times and you admitted you fled to flee in terror, and you're now saying if you throw...
My children were in the building. That's different story. What I'm saying to you is, inside this Islamic community centre, no one was in there.
But you don't know the next time that happens, that there won't be people in there. So the next time a nut job does it...
But I'm saying it, well, you're in the same breath as I don't condone any acts of violence.
Sounds close like you are, Kevin. Sounding close like you are here. You're sounding very close to saying that it's only bricks and mortar, nobody was hurt. So...
Are you trying to make it something it's not? Tell me what it is. It's a building made of bricks and mortar. Am I missing something?
No, you're missing the point that can you go out tonight and throw a petrol bomb into bricks and mortar, and if the police see you doing it, do you think they're going to say, oh, it's okay, Kevin, we'll just let you go with that one? Of course, you're off, you're not, they'll put you in jail for the night, you dafty.
I would be arrested for an arson attack.
So exactly, an arson. So the people who did that. So the point of doing it, if you throw it into an empty building where nobody goes, but if you throw it into a mosque or a place where people congregate at some point during the day, night, or evening, or week, then that is an attack, because at some point someone could have been in there.
What is it?
Well, somebody could have been in there.
But if I go out and burn, say, just argument's sake. Say I went out into an industrial estate tonight and I burned down a warehouse. No one's in there, but people work there during the day from 8 till 5. And if I burn it down at 10 o'clock at night and no one's in there, in the morning, it's not reported as a terrorist attack, it's reported as an arson attack. So trying to transform it and manifest it into something that it's not is a whole different ballgame.
Okay, then, so what about the terrorist attacks in Brixton? In Brixton, where there was where there was parcel bombs, where there was bombs, would you equate that as being terrorism, where people are being killed by right-wing extremists sending bombs through the post?
Who's been killed by right-wing extremists through the post? I missed that one.
In Brixton, hear about it in Brixton a few years ago, no? The terror campaign?
The BNP.
Well, are they right-wing, left-wing? What wing are they?
Job site for the BNP, decades, I don't know, years ago. But, mate, one-off and very, very, very rare. But, yeah, an arsehole, an independent dickhead, it was up to him, but he was obviously BNP or something.
Okay then, so you're saying he's an arsehole, so the whole of the white community is not held accountable or not held to justify the acts of one white right-wing radical arsehole, as you call them. So why is the whole of the Islamic community to be held accountable or guilty for the acts of the people who proclaim to be Muslims? Those two people...
I'd say the entire Muslim community was held accountable.
Well, the way it's perceived and the way it's put out
Now,
there.
what we're saying is the greatest threat to peace in this country, right,
Yes.
and
Is what?
on the globe at present day is Islam. That's
Is
a
that
fact,
right?
bro.
Islam?
Because, all right, but
Tell me how many Muslims are in the World Bank or IMF. Tell me who's in control. Tell me who's in control of the British military junta. Tell me who's in control of the American military junta. Tell me who's in control of the Israeli military junta. Is there any Muslims? Is there any Sharia law or Islamic law? Because see these three countries, these are the only three countries in the world that can invade other countries with impunity, use weapons of mass destruction, cause blood, death and mayhem. Your own people who you back, the British soldiers, do you not think it's better for British soldiers to be in their own country instead of invading other countries? Who benefits? Do you benefit when Britain invades another country, Kevin? Do you benefit? Do you make loads of money when Britain invades Iraq and gets all the oil? When Britain invades Afghanistan, when all those soldiers give their bloods and their lives, do you benefit greatly, or are you suffering in this a recession like everybody else?
you're preaching to the converted. Let me educate you about some of my opinions on that, bruv.
I know you're with me in this one. Listen, Kev, I know you're with me in this one because we're on the same side for getting the troops back. Go on you go.
Listen, I do not agree, I never have done, with the war in Iraq or Afghanistan. I want all my boys and girls home, right?
Why is that, Kevin? Why is that? Can I ask you, please? Can I ask you that?
Tony Blair is the biggest war criminal in probably in this country's history.
Right, there we go. I applaud you. Well done.
Right, he took us to war on a lie.
Pack of lies, yeah.
Murdered, right, and made to look like a suicide because he was going to expose that there was no weapons of mass destruction.
I'm singing the same hymn sheet as you.
Did George Bush's bidding,
Yeah.
right? So, I do not agree with the wars, but what I do is support our British Armed Forces 110%, no matter where they go, right or wrong, whatever the cause is. I support them because they don't get to choose. They have to go where they're told. So whether it's right to be in Afghanistan or Iraq, I don't care because I'm just going to support our troops, right? But Tony Blair should be on the gallows, and so should half his ministers. But
Right.
and Bush, because they have serious blood on their hands.
Right, so we're on the same hymn sheet here, Kev, yeah? On that one. But see, you're saying there you're for the British troops. Now, the British troops, if you analyse it, when you hear these liars, as you've said there, when Tony Blair, and they say, oh, they're acting for our interests. So if you look at all the puppet leaders who at one point have been our friend, Gaddafi, Hussein, if you look at Bin Laden in Afghanistan, we end up invading these countries. We had them as puppets because they were getting out the resources. In Afghanistan it was smack, in Iraq it was oil, in Libya it was gas and oil, and at one time we befriended people who we then at some point called nut jobs and terrorists, right? So, but the interest of Britain, right, and the British soldiers' lives, they're dying.
We trained the Mujahideen, right? We trained the Taliban, along with the Yanks.
There you go. So what does that say to you, Kevin? What does that say to you?
One of my friends, ex-SAS, he trained them.
So what does that say to you? What does that say to you then? If we're doing that, we're training people who end up coming back and want to kill us. What does that say?
Against Russians, and now that training is biting us in the arse.
Right. Well, what about over $1 trillion of Iraqi oil that disappeared and wasn't accounted for, and they reckon up to close to 90% of that disappeared into quote-unquote insurgents' hands, whoever were the insurgents. So we find that...
That's all the little ins and outs of it. All I care about is our British Armed Forces, right? And our interest. I just...
Well, what's your interest then? Your interest is the forces. What other interests have you got, Kevin, apart from the troops?
My interests are to stop any terrorist, Al-Qaeda or Taliban-type terrorist cells that I wish to deny them the base, the building block, the foundation to build bomb factories or to create armies of insane, twisted Islamists that wish to launch attacks around the globe against the West and against capitalism, if you like. Now, whether we're in their countries or not,
Hold on, roll that one back there, roll that one back there. You're saying insane people who want to attack us because we're capitalist or because of the capitalist system. Is that seriously what you believe, Kevin? Is that as simplistic as...
Just because we are not Muslims, right?
Sorry, say it again? They want to attack us just because we're Muslims? Or we're not Muslims?
I'm saying these Muslims, yeah, these twisted Islamists, they wish to eradicate non-Muslims, non-believers, in the name of Islam, right?
Nonsense.
Oh, God. Listen, bruv, I'm right in the middle of doing something really...
No, don't look, hold on, keep going, Kevin, come on, this is good, so just because I said nonsense, you don't have to run away, but carry on then, because...
I'm in the middle of a PayPal transaction, but I've got to go on the other end. So what I'm saying to you is, look, you have your beliefs, you're converted to... How old are you, my friend? Don't mind me asking.
41, yourself?
44. And how long have you been a convert?
Well, as I say, I mean, I walked in the door of a mosque 12 years ago, but I ain't the best. I mean, for me to actually say I'm a Muslim is actually, I shouldn't even go about saying that, but I walked into a mosque 3 weeks before 9/11, and the people that I meet is completely different what you see in the media. The people that I meet with big beards who look like Bin Laden are so peaceful and so inclined to peace and against violence that you would never believe. So my point is, you said Islamists and all these people, and the people who are praying and doing their business and doing their stuff, they ain't ever going to attack you, mate. Your country isn't under attack. But if you go to Afghanistan, you go to Libya, Syria, you can go to any country in the Middle East and you'll find those countries being attacked. When's the last time Daisy Cutter bombs dropped in your country? Well, it happened to Afghanistan. When's the last time drones attacked British culture? Well, it happened in Pakistan last night and last week. When is the last time F-16 bombs killed Palestinians and killed British people that killed Palestinians? This is terrorism that your government is committing.
We use drones to take out selected targets.
What weddings? Weddings and innocent children have to die because, there might be one terrorist there. There might...
He wants to ask you a question. 1 second. What's that, Simon? Yeah.
Just want to my own personal reasons, I just want to understand one thing. What is the single most reason why you converted to Islam?
What drew you to convert to Islam? You said you walked in a mosque. What made you convert to Islam?
I read a book by Martin Lings, the Seerah, the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and I was given some tapes by Sheikh Hamza Yusuf. Now, he was the Christian Greek convert who gave advice to George Bush, straight after the 9/11. That's Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, and it made sense to me. I mean, I read the book, it made sense and appealed to me, and it fit well. For me, when you look, I mean, we agree on the way the system works, that the British troops are in other people's lands, that if they came back to these lands, look, when Spain get attacked in Madrid, what did? They pulled their troops back and they've not been attacked at all. So for these nut jobs who stood in the street and attacked that soldier, they said it's because of British soldiers being in other lands. So surely this is a message that leave other people's lands and let them go about their business, and then they won't want to attack our lands. Surely you can agree on that, Kevin.
The foreign policy, yeah, there is a foreign policy issue with Muslims, but that's not the reason that they did what they did.
But that's what they quoted on TV. That's what he quoted, saying why he did. So why are you disagreeing with what that nut job said?
We don't believe that, because we believe it's from the root cause of all Islamism, which is the Quran.
But then that's what I'm saying. Like, I look at the Quran and I don't want to go out and fight and decapitate people and do bad stuff to you. I phoned you up and seeked you out. I've been trying to talk to you and Tommy Robinson just to seek you out to talk to you. Not because I want to do anything bad to you, just because I want to talk to you, my man. Because you're my brother in humanity. I don't care what you believe. No matter fact, my wife's black and I've got kids. I don't care if you hate blacks, white. I came from a Catholic background. I'm a Celtic fan. I'm Irish, right? So I don't care what you hate, everything that I come from in my background. I just want to reach out to someone and say, look, things are getting so bad. Surely people of different persuasions and different outlooks can sit down instead of the government, who we're both perceiving as a problem, instead of the media, who we're both perceiving as a problem. Surely we can get...
But the problem is, now I want to live in peace. I'm expecting my first granddaughter soon, yeah? And I want to just live in peace and get on with my life and take her to the park. But I can't because I've got insane psychopaths that want to kill me, right? So
they don't want to kill you, bro. Look, that was the actions of two people, right? Look at the...
No, I'm not about them. I'm on about all the people that wish to kill me and all the people that wish to kill Tommy, right? I have to live a certain way in life, yeah, because I get death threats every single day. So does Tommy, right? Because in the real world, if you criticise Islam or you criticise their prophet, you deserve to die. Right?
See, brother, right? See, brother, these people, right? I mean, I'm just a baby in Islam, less than 12 years, right? But
for me, bruv, I've had thousands of death threats and so did Tommy.
Yeah, well, listen. People spat. Hold on, bro. People spat and hit the Prophet Muhammad with spat on them with saliva, hit him with rotten fruit and tomatoes, and he didn't do any action, and he didn't go and say, "Oh, I'm going to commit death against you and do all this." He, in a way, turned his cheek and then went away. So these people who are doing that are giving you death threats. I'm saying to you, they're wrong because why? I couldn't care what your opinion. If you want to say the Prophet is this or that, Islam is this or that, fine. Let's talk about it. Let's have a debate. I don't want to kill you because there's no reason. Okay, yeah, so these people are out. So these people aren't. Hold on, these people aren't following Islam. They're following something twisted because it doesn't say anywhere that I should want to attack you because you've got bad views. I should be wanting to debate you. I've seeked you out to debate you because if you get bad views, I just want to talk to you, Kev.
Yeah. That's great, bud, but there's millions out there that want to seek me out and cut my head off. And say,
well, listen, do you want me to get a fatwa? I can get a fatwa and I'll back you up. Right, I'm for one of the hardest areas in Glasgow. If you want me to come down and back you up, brother, I'll come back down. I'll come down there, wherever you are, and say, over my dead body, you touching him. Because at the end of the day, if you're a believer of God, if you're a person of the book, if you're a Christian or a Jew, the Muslims should be protecting you. Okay,
that's how it's supposed to be. But it's like everything in life, bruv. How it's supposed to be and how it actually is two different worlds. And the fact remains that.
But not everybody's the same as that, bro. Not everybody. For all the people who gave you death threats, there's a lot of people out there who wish you no bad at all. Muslims people.
There's a lot of people that do, bruv. And what I'm trying to say to you is, look what happened when somebody drew a cartoon of Muhammad. Hundreds, thousands of people were killed. They rioted all over the planet over a cartoon. You know, bruv, this is what you're dealing with. This is
listen. See the same passion that the Muslims showed over a cartoon. See if they showed that for the death and the slaughter of the brothers and sisters in Palestine. You know, when you've got Arab sheikhs spending billions in football clubs, wasting it in Paris Saint-Germain, Monaco, Man City, wasting their money when the brothers and sisters just a few miles down the road, up the road in Palestine are suffering, you know, so, and then the Muslims, you know, the over 200 Muslims in the Arab Peninsula sit there where their Palestinian brothers are suffering. You know, and instead of causing stuff like that, instead of just for a stupid picture, they should be causing riots or doing stuff for something better.
Right. Jordan, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, all these Muslim countries, right, especially Saudi, all these countries have the power to take in and make Palestine, every single homeless person in Palestine, have a nice life if they wish to. But they don't. They leave them in that position because it's a political pawn that suits their agenda. Right?
Who see all the government? You say Saudi. Who's the Saudi government working for?
No, but the House of Saud.
Who are they friends with? Come on, tell me. You seem to know a lot. You seem to know a geopolitical more than a lot of people. Who are the Sauds working for? Are they Muslims or are they working for the Zionists? Are they working for Bush? Are they working for Blair? Are they working for Cameron? Of course they are. You know that's true, mate. Come on.
Yeah. I think Saudis work for themselves because whoever controls the oil controls the Western governments.
Yeah, well, the Saudis, you just have to look at the ranks with the House of Saud and the Bushes, the Cheneys. You've got it all there. The oil connection, it's there.
Listen, brother, what I'm saying to you is, when you have things like, look, the punishment. What's the punishment for leaving Islam?
You tell me. You seem to be a Mulvey. You seem to be a sheikh on it, bro. You need to be an alim, you have to study Islam for 7 years, but it seems to me you're going to give me an education here, bro. Tell me, what's the punishment?
Do you not know that the punishment for leaving Islam is death?
I wanted you to tell me, but of course I know that, bro, yeah.
So why didn't you just say that?
Because I wanted you to prove your knowledge of Islam, because you people always seem to be experts in Islam, and that's what I'm saying. I've walked into the door 12 years ago, and I could put what I know about Islam in a pinprick of a stamp on a postcard. That's what knowledge I know is in Islam, but you seem to know what Islam's all about.
For 4 years plus, what I'm saying to you is, we both know the term, the sentence for apostasy, yeah? So how can you be a religion of peace? Where one of your main instructions is, if you leave Islam, you're punishable under sentence of death.
What year was the Islamic Caliphate destroyed by the British Empire? It was 1924, and it means as such, right? See that any without a proper caliphate and leader of the Muslims, there can be no punishment by death. Okay, there can be nothing like that at all, because there's no leadership. There's so much splits in Islam that has been destroyed.
Listen, what's your name again?
Tommy, Kevin.
Right, Tommy, can you do me a favour? Can you call me tomorrow and I'll have a lengthy chat with you?
What time you want? Tell me the time when I'm there. Tomorrow evening about this time, or a wee bit earlier?
Earlier, because Tommy's picking me up at 1:30. So,
well, listen, he's a man I want to talk to, Kevin. You're a nice guy. You seem amenable, and I want to come back and talk to you, but I also want to talk to Tommy. But
I'll get on loudspeaker. You phone me up at. We've got an appointment at 2. Phone me up at about, I think, 20 to 3. Right, if you go 20 to 3, you'll get us both in the car at the same time.
Sorted, bro. Right, okay, we'll do that, and then we'll continue. That's brilliant, mate. You take care, mate. All the best to your family. And listen, I really mean that. Listen, I mean that. If you've got any problem with the Muslims, because at the end of the day, you're allowed to say what you want to say, mate. If you've got a problem, it's about sorting things out. There's too many people suffering, my man. We just need to pull back for the brink. Pull back for the brink.
Tell me that there's too many people that want us dead.
Well, mate, I want us to pull us back for the brink, mate. Pull you back for the brink, mate, because it's too much. There's too much happening. We need to...
Bruv, I've just got back from the Old Bailey today, me and Tommy, and we sat in there while 6 men got sentenced to life for plotting to murder me and Tommy with bombs, shotguns and knives and swords. They just got 25 years today, all 6 of them.
Well, you've been protected by the government. There you go. The British state has worked to protect you. What's your fear? You don't have to live in fear. But the next Islamic community centre is living in fear as well.
By accident, but I've had a man run up behind me in front of my wife with a sawn-off shotgun and let off a shot. I got away by the grace of God. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you now. My head would be splattered all over my front door. Shit happens, brother. That's the way.
Stay safe, then, right? Increase the peace, Kev. 23 tomorrow, yeah.
Yep, definitely. All right, Tommy. And funny
God
enough, Tommy's called Tommy, and obviously Tommy's dad's called Tommy. Quite ironic.
Take care, right?
All right, so I'll speak to you tomorrow, Tommy.
All right, Kev, bye.
God bless.
God bless. At least he's a bit of intellectual nous about him. He's not a usual knuckle dragger that I've came across. Well, he's got a little bit there anyway about him. And if there's any more EDL with a little bit there about him instead of just your knuckle draggers that I managed to phone last week, then it's all good in the hood. He might not like what they say, but you can't just turn people off and lock people away and say, oh, you're an extremist, you're this, you're that, go away. What does that do? It stores more problems. It's like the old ostrich putting the head in the sand. You're storing more problems for the future. So, like these people who committed that attack on the soldier, where did they get this influence from? Where was this anger? Where did it engender itself from? It was stored somewhere. Someone or whatever got into their minds, or whatever came into their minds, and this anger was allowed to fester, and we should try to cut out anger from everywhere. It says in a hadith, if you feel anger and you're standing up, then you should sit down. If you still feel anger when you're sitting down, you should lie down. Yes, there's many people who can give you statements from the Quran about this and that and say, oh, it's violence and this and that. And for each one that you've got there at a time and a place when Islam has been attacked, and maybe it'll be a battle of Badr or a battle of Uhud or whatever the battles where Muslims have been attacked and having to defend themselves. When the Muslims walked back into Mecca, it was done peacefully. There's countless occasions there where for every, I mean, it sounds a bit like what about today, but it sounds, if for someone who says, oh, there's Islam, there's a hadith that shows where Muslims can go in peace and will act in peace. We're commanded to act in peace. We're commanded to turn the other cheek. When it gets to a point where life and liberty and stuff are threatened, then yeah, you have to make a stand, but you have to avert yourself from violence at all cost if you can. And so for people to put, people who probably are not doing their prayers, I mean, I'll admit I'm the best of Muslims, I eat halal, I don't drink booze, alcohol, and, there is no compulsion. Islam is only there as a guidance and a criterion, an example set by the life of a man, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And it's there, it's not as if you can pick and choose in between what you want, but it's there for you to accept it. And once you've accepted it, there is no compulsion. God does not need you. You need God, if you like. And so if you want to go and do it all, then fine. It's, if you want to accept it all and do it all and be a heavy Muslim, and the more heavy Muslim you become, as I said to Kevin earlier on, the more in depth you get to your religion. I've seen many people do it and they become so peaceful. The inner peace and the light in their face, when they're doing their 5 times a day, and the inner peace. And I'm telling you, these people who are doing their prayers, or doing their namaz, who are fasting, these people are not bombers. These people are not suicidal. These people are not genocidal nuts. These people who are doing their prayers are peaceful. They're never going to hurt anybody. So the people who are giving these threats, to people at the EDL, I have to say, come on. The example of the Prophet, peace be upon him, yeah, there is times when the Muslims defended themselves and they fought and they had to defend their communities. But there has to become a time where, like those 2 idiots who committed that, you have to say, what was the benefit to the Muslim community? If they went out there thinking, well, this is going to further our cause, well, what part of the Muslim community cause did they further? What did they do? 2 places have been petrol bombs. Muslims are now living in fear and being attacked. Racial abuse, the incidents are through the roof for racial attacks. Just this last few weeks. So if these people act in Islam by killing that soldier, what good? If they thought in their mind, this is going to further the Muslim cause, this is going to further Islam, what part in their mindset? Because right away when I see that, I say, oh, please God, this is terrible. Don't be a Muslim. Please don't be a Muslim. Don't let this happen, because this is going to be bad. This is going to be really bad. Innocent people are going to get hurt. And it was, and I really cried for the soldier, for the state of the life in general, for the way this society has become sick, degenerate nut jobs, when there's no need. So at what point did these people sit down, 22, 28, at what point did they sit down and think, hold on, if I do this, this is going to make Britain stop blowing people up or blowing my brothers and sisters up? Is this going to get all the troops back? Or is this going to make the community in Britain hate us? Is this going to make them turn against our community? Well, the sad facts are, of course, that's what was going to happen. It was going to turn the mainstream community, the British non-Muslim community, against the Muslims. So it was a spectacular own goal. A spectacular own goal. It wasn't a win-win, it was a lose-lose. Because Britain was never going to pull out. The foreign policy was never going to change. It was never going to save a life in Palestine. It was never going to save a life in Afghanistan or Syria. There was not one drop of Muslim blood that was going to be stopped or saved. And what happened? Muslim blood are going to suffer. People are going to suffer. And it didn't have to be this way. And then that's when I never even got to the point of saying to the brother there that the fact is, that Britain and America have bankrolled, have sponsored Islamic nationalism, terrorism. Check Noam Chomsky. He ain't an Islamic sheikh, an Islamic mullah. He was a Zionist who went for a kibbutz and saw what it was like after the Second World War and realised that the illegal Zionist entity wasn't for him, and he spent his whole life talking against the capitalist system. He ain't no Islamic mullah. He ain't no Islamic imam or scholar or sheikh. He's a Jewish person who's an intellectual scholar from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And he states in World Orders Old and New that Arab nationalism in various places was bankrolled and funded by the CIA because the full war of the 60s, the 50s, the 70s, what was it? It was a phony war against communism, capitalism, communism, the old conquer and divide. George Orwell spoke about the enemy of the month. Sorry, Gore Vidal, Al Gore's cousin, spoke about the enemy of the month. George Orwell, you know, the bogeyman always had to be invented and reinvented to divert the people away from figuring out who the real bogeyman is. So look how close Kevin is to joining the dots together. He can see that the British foreign policy is causing endless problems. He doesn't benefit. The EDL do not benefit one iota from British foreign policy. We suffer collectively. Kevin or Tommy have probably got grannies, people who are suffering, family who've not got a pot to piss in like the majority of us, suffering in a bleak British shutdown, a meltdown of the economic system where people are having to go to soup kitchens to survive. Pensioners are dying during the winter in fucking April and May because they can't afford to put the heating on. What sick country, what sick degenerate country is this? Yes, Muslims have to own up and take their part in some of the problems that are happening in this country. But it's not all about Muslim terrorism or extremism where people are dying. It's not Muslims who are sitting there poisoning the food, who are putting fluoride in the water, who are giving us brain-dead TV shows, pacifying us, dumbifying us. People are dying at alarming rates in this country because, you know, they've been poisoned. They've been given aspartame and juice. As I said last night, what's the difference if you kill someone by a bullet or you put something in their food over 30, 40 years and you kill them? You still killed them. It's still murder. You do it in 1 second with a bullet, or you do it over 30 years, you still killed a human being. And that is a capitalist system. And I've been fighting against the capitalist system. When Muslims say they're on a jihad and they want to destroy the capitalist system and blow it up, how are they destroying the capitalist system? They're helping perpetuate a sick, messed up system for people who disengage, who don't buy stuff in the capitalist system, who voice at any opportunity and every opportunity, like myself. This is a peaceful jihad. This is a peaceful struggle from me. And I've been advocating this for years. Not on this radio station only, but on the nation's radio stations, for people, for Muslims, to chill out, to not take the violent route. There's no need to take the violent route. The military junta of America and Britain want people to take the violent route. And if that's where they want to take them, we have to turn against it, because they are liars. Kevin identified it. They know they're liars. They know these people are lying. So I stretch out to the EDL leadership tonight, if I can. Okay, I'm just a fanny. I ain't nothing special. Just because I phone and I get numbers for this place and that place, I ain't nothing special. I'm just a concerned human being. When I saw those planes hit the buildings 3 weeks after I walked into the mosque for the first time, I cried because I've got kids. At that time, I was 3 kids under 4. What kind of future, I said, are we leaving for our children? That guy's got a granddaughter. What kind of future when we've got leaders who are hell-bent on the nihilist destruction of the planet? It ain't just about terrorism, bin Laden, Muslim Islam. Yeah, okay, Muslims have to take their blame and share their part for what they've done at certain points in history and just now. Yeah, there's no hiding the fact that we're not perfect. Muslims aren't perfect. Of course they're not. The religion might be perfect, but there's no way any Muslim, the majority of the Muslims, the way they act, Kevin spoke about the pictures there and the stuff about the cartoons. Where's the outrage and anger in a collective way and a response when every time a Muslim person is killed or murdered or butchered by the illegal Zionist entity, or in Iraq or in Chechnya or wherever the atrocity is in the Muslim lands where they're getting butchered every day, every night? Where's the outrage and the injustice instead of for a stupid picture? Yeah, of course it's terrible. Of course, you wouldn't like it if it was a picture. Look at the outrage for, who was that referee? Dallas, over the stuff about the Pope. If you love someone who is part of, more even closer than your family, part of the family, if you're a part of a religious group, and you hold something dear, to have them character assassinated when they're not there to defend themselves and talking bad of it, you don't like it. Nobody likes it. If I start talking about Kevin saying Tommy Robbins is this and that and this and that, he's going to take umbrage and say, you don't know what he's all about, and you're going to start defending him. So that's what Muslims were doing. So be it misplaced or whatever, yeah, of course they're going to try and defend someone if someone they love so dearly has been character assassinated, and I'm all for defending that as well. But Muslims have to realise that should the fact that Muslims do realise that the fact that many of their brothers or sisters are dying across the planet unjustly, and many Muslims cry and weep because they're so impotent to change the status quo. They can see what's happening, they know what's happening, they can identify it's a Zionist, it's a corrupt Saudi government, it's mad mullahs who are perverting Islam, it's mad bastards like Bush, Blair, who are bankrolling and funding mad mullahs who might not even be Islamic, they might be Christian fundamentalists, they might be Jewish fundamentalists. It's on record that Kemal Ataturk was not actually a Muslim. He professed Islam, but he was anything but. You can also look at the House of Saud. They profess Islam, yeah. They send their princes over here, prostitutes, gambling, boozing, everything, doing everything is out with the fold of Islam. Yet they're the protectors of the two holy mosques, and this is what they do. It's a crazy situation. And in the media, they hold this House of Saud to say, oh, look, this is Islam, but it's nothing but. It's a perversion here. You want to talk about perversion of Islam? The Saudi royal family, Britain, his best friends, America's best friends. We back them, we fund them, they boil people alive, but it's cool. Because Britain and America are getting the oil out cheap, and they're our best friends. So Britain and America can turn a blind eye to terrorism, because it's committed by our friends who are helping us get the oil out at cheap prices. Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, everywhere, and all across the planet, corrupt regimes are best friends of America and Britain as long as they're getting the natural resources out. But do you or I benefit from seeing these natural resources? Of course we don't. So what is the point? Sadly, these soldiers are no more than paid up mercenaries. Poorly paid mercenaries at that. Because the mercenary backers of these troops, they use the cloak of a country where they can fool people and say, oh look, we're fighting for the flag, we're fighting for the country, be proud of being British. Why should you be proud of being British in any country? What have you done to actually be British? What have you actually done to be French, German, Afghani? What have you actually done? What have you actually done? I'll phone you back in a minute. What have you actually done to be proud to be part of that country? Nothing. It was a fluke of birth. It was an accident. You came out your mod's fanny in that country. God forgive me for using that language and being so blunt. But it's a truth. You done nothing to be born in Britain. It was a quirk of fate. It was an accident. But why be proud of it? Why use that as an excuse to invade other lands and be triumphant and rule Britannia and we're better than that? It's all nonsense. Nonsense and BS, and it's time to change it. And you're not going to change people by bludgeoning them, by beating them up, by hitting them, by putting a fatwa and shooting them or petrol bombing them. No, what does that do? it just produces another lot of people who follow them, and it just keeps the endless cycle of violence continuing. So to break that chain, you have to sit down and just say, look, no matter what happens, just let's calm down, take a step back and get some peace in here. Too many hotheads are falling into the trap, and it's time to fall out that trap. Stand back. EDL, people are Muslims, people are Christian, people are atheists, Jews, everybody, Buddhists, Rastafari, everybody, chill out, chillax, and be good. I think we should all be good, know what I mean? If you can't be good, then you need to be like, well, no bad, but I would say if I could scroll this over, we could get this going. Yeah, you definitely want to be good. We're going to play a wee tune and we'll get a good brother on in a couple of minutes. How's that? Right, so if you can't be good, then you can be Ebenezer good. Naughty, naughty.
Very naughty.
Crackpot McDougall FM. Tell 10 to tell 10.
And he goes by the name of Ebenezer Good. His friends call him Easer and he is the main geezer, and he vibe up the place like no other man could. He's refined, he's sublime, he makes you feel fine. They're very much maligned and misunderstood. But if you know Easer, he's a real crowd pleaser. He's ever so good, he's Ebenezer Good. You see that he's mischievous, mysterious and devious when he circulates amongst the people in the place. Once you know he's fun and something of a genius, he gives a grin that goes around face to face to face. Backwards and then forwards, forwards and then backwards. Easer is a geezer, he loves to muscle in. That's about the time the crowd will shout the name of Easer, and he's conjured in the corner laughing by the bass bin. Easer Good, Easer Good. He's Ebenezer Good, Easer Good, Easer Good. He's Ebenezer Good, Easer Good, Easer Good. He's Ebenezer Good, Easer Good, Easer Good. He's Ebenezer Good. He's Ebenezer Good. Has anyone here got any beers? Lovely. He's a good leading light of the scene, know what I mean? He created the vibe, he takes you for a ride, and as if by design, the party ignites like he's coming alive. He takes you to the top, shakes you all around and back down. You know as he gets mellow, then it's smooth as a groove that is making you move. He's glad to see a mind with a sunny hello. A gentleman of leisure, he's there for your pleasure, but go easy on old Easer, he's a love you can lose. Extraordinary fella like Mr. Punchinella. He's the kind of geezer who must never be abused. When you're in town and Ebenezer is around, you can sense the presence in the stand of the crowd. He gets them all out. The party starts rocking, the people get excited, it's time to shout loud. Easer Good, Easer Good. He's Ebenezer Good, Easer Good, Easer Good. He's Ebenezer Good, Easer Good, Easer Good. He's Ebenezer Good, Easer Good, Easer Good. He's Ebenezer Good. He's Ebenezer Good. He's Ebenezer Good, Easer Good, Easer Good. Easer Good, Easer Good. He's Ebenezer Good. Got any salmon? Sorry. Easer Good, Easer Good. Easer Good, Easer Good. Oh, what a carry on. Easer Good, Easer Good. Easer Good, Easer Good. He's Ebenezer Good. He's Ebenezer Good. Oh, what a carry on. He's Ebenezer Good.
yourself in a boat on a river with tangerine trees and marmalade skies. Somebody calls you, you answer quite slowly. A girl with kaleidoscope eyes. Cellophane flowers of yellow and green towering over your head. Look for the girl with the sun in her eyes and she's gone. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Follow her down to a bridge by a fountain where rocking horse people eat marshmallow pies. Everyone smiles as you drift past the flowers that grow so incredibly high. Newspaper taxis appear on the shore, waiting to take you away. Lying in the back with your head in the clouds and you're gone. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Picture yourself on a train in a station with plasticine pauses with looking glass ties. Suddenly someone is there at the turnstile, the girl with kaleidoscope eyes. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. 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 Lucy in the sky.
Right. We're back here, wait to give it, well, that's quite a lot here. Well, here we go, hold on, stay there. I'll just refresh this, I'll give you a wee shout out here. Right, here we go. Right, can I see this back? When did I come on? It's not taking us back. Sugar. Right, so can it go back? It's not going back. How's it not going back? It's only going back to 50, so can it go back to all users, sugar? Let's see, not Scottish. Free call. Right, hold on, I'm just going through it all here. Right, hold on. So Sean, Don, Edo, since 60s, Michael, Barry Boy, who's this? John Joe, Liam Thomas, NCC Mick, Connell Boy. Right. I'm just scrolling down here. Longest rant I've heard, Alec Jones. Camden. Have they got any beers? Right, okie dokie. So, yeah, everybody's got an outward viewpoint and their own inner viewpoints that they keep to themselves or to places where they feel comfortable. And many times being a taxi driver, people I've sat in my car in the past, and because they see a white person, they could just be outrageously racist and bigoted. And sadly, you know, one of the saddest things is it's not. Celtic fans have been known to do it as well, and that's the one thing that breaks my heart sometimes when actually see the call. Remember the show I did on the Kano Foundation one, the one I did on Cup Final Day, and I never saw the car, I never looked at the car, and it was obviously that was a week after that Woolwich attack, and there was some Muslims or Asian people that were in the other car, and the guy was saying roll back and he was about to shout, and I had to calm him down and say, look, calm down. And that's one of the things that does make me cry like anything else. You know what I mean? It's people who are from our background who have should know better, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Should know your history. Many people do and would never dream of being racist, bigoted. Many very brilliant people who have came from the Irish, nationalist, Celtic, Catholic, whatever kind of background, whatever label there, for people who come from Scotland, Glasgow, Ireland, who have stood shoulder to shoulder with their brothers and sisters across the planet who have suffered depression. Because if you come from a family, if you have come from an ancestry where people have suffered greatly, then you desecrate their memory. Gerald Kaufman once said, I think, I quote him, you urinate, and I think it was against some Zionist who was mentioning stuff, and he said, look, I don't know, is Gerald Kaufman one of his family? Our family suffered the Holocaust. He says, you urinate over the graves of the people who gave their lives. You know, when you stand there talking about the illegal Zionist entity, when it sits there with its full-on oppression of another people who did no wrong to them. You know, they invaded the land, the lie that they give and persist with, a land for a people without a land, a land without a people for a people without a land. You know, that old myth that there was no one there. Well, the truth is, and your man there said there about why all the Muslims, you know, why don't they give them another land and look after them? You know, the Palestinian people have chosen to stay there in refugee camps in Lebanon and Syria and all the land round about Palestine, have chosen to remain there because they wait to return to the land that was stolen. They don't want to go and further down. You know, there's no point in, you know, the concept of nationalism, of land, of countries is a false concept created by your mandarins in the start of the British Empire, or part of the British Empire. That was the way to conquer and divide, especially in the Arab Peninsula. Instead of one entity, one body, the Muslim Ummah, hundreds of millions, break it down into small areas and fiefdoms that are easier to control. Saudi Arabia, Libya, Egypt, blah, blah, blah. Look at all the lines in the sands after the First World War, the Sykes-Picot Agreement. France and Britain. Anyway, I'm just rambling on and on and on, and I could do so for hours and hours on this one, because the fact is, and I'm going to get a good brother on the phone to you in just 2 minutes. Stay there, brother, I'll get you on 2 seconds. The fact is that that Britain, since, for the last 100 years, for the invasion of that land, for the conquering of those lands, you know, it's not Britain whose culture has been desecrated. It's not the countless graves of British people that goes on and on, carrying onwards, upwards. It's the lives and the graves of Palestinians, Chechens, Afghans, Iraqis, Syrians, Libyans. It's these people's countries and traditions and cultures who have been assassinated, who have been wiped from history. So for the lies that is given that the Muslims and the Islamists are wanting to stop our culture, you know, if I'm an Islamist because I believe in Islam, I believe in Muslims are peaceful people, and that Islam, you know, maybe there's a message that we could all benefit from. You know, the thing that I spoke about is the one thing I would like to implement. I don't want anybody or any one of you to become a Muslims, but I just want one thing that Muslims, and as I said before, Christians and Jewish people, religions have spoke about, and that is not charging interest when you borrow out money. Just that one small simple thing would be the revolution of all revolutions that would free us from the yoke of oppression that the less than 1% have over us. And that's it. That's all I have to say on that. And I'm going to now phone a brother in less than 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm just going to play this wee intro because my brother and his famous tin can. This is me, Crackpot McDougall, in a tin can here tonight at 11:34, calling for world peace in my little tin can. Major Crackpot Tom to ground control. Come in, crackpots. Stand shoulder to shoulder in a radical pacifist peaceful formation.
To Major Tom.
Peaceful people of the world, stand together.
Ground control to Major Tom.
We're here, crackpots. Stay calm.
Lock your Soyuz hatch and put your helmet on. 10. Ground control 9, to Major Tom. 8, 7, 6. Commencing countdown, engines on. 3, 2. Detach from station and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirts you wear. But it's time to guide the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I've left forevermore, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way, and the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can.
Yes, we're sitting here, would you believe it? Sitting here on the ground in a little tin can called a taxi, ripping off the capitalist Wi-Fi broadband on a netbook, hardcore to the floor, bring you this message, tell 10 to tell 10, retweet to retweet. God willing, that was the second in command of EDL, tomorrow we're going to have the second and the first in command of the EDL. We're striking out for world peace. Calm down everybody, please, for the love of God. Christian, Jews, Muslims, everyone. Peace! Peace!
100,000 miles, I'm feeling very still. And before too long, I know it's time to go.
Yes, is that Kofi Annan?
That is. How you doing, mate? All right.
Kofi Annan for the South Side. The South Side, Kofi Annan. What's happening?
No much, mate. Listen, enjoying the show. I sent you a wee Skype message today. Obviously, you know what it's about. If you're too busy today, it's no problem. It's just the guy in question asking a wee message just to check up with you. I know you've got a lot on now, so it's not a problem. Just.
Is you want to date the new?
What's that?
Is you want to date the new?
No. He's after the obviously the thing that's later on and you were doing the front yet sort of thing. He was just wondering if you had any joy with it. But I'll talk to you after about it. That's what I sent you a message today. I know you're probably running about.
Where did you send it? Where did you send the message?
I sent you a Skype message and I aimed it.
Not no here on my Skype. Hold on,
Right, I'll DM you after I go off the show. No, enjoying the show, mate. It's all good. I know you've got, obviously, I know you're speaking to that guy tomorrow. It's just to let you know, in case you're on the south side tomorrow morning, that the SFA and all the member clubs, all 39 of them are meeting tomorrow.
Oh, right. I just seen that there, mate. You phoned us at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6 minutes past 3, aye. No, I just seen that one there as well. Shit, right, okay.
No bother at all, mate. No, just, as I say, it's no for the end of the world. It's just, obviously, I know you've got a lot of stuff on, and I messaged them back saying that was, no, what's going on? They just seen you've got stuff on, so it's not a problem, but you might want to DM them or let them know you're away, mate, you know. But, no, your show's really good tonight, mate. Obviously, I mean, it's quite, about the stuff you're talking to that guy about, it's quite bizarre to think we're talking about in Europe. I mean, I've said to you before, I worked in the Balkans in the very early 90s, and some of the stuff that happened out there, Tommy, I mean, I know there's problems in Ireland, and that's primarily between two opposing communities who, for whatever reason, they don't get on and stuff like that. But say, when I worked in the Balkans, you had the Serbians, you had the Muslims, and you had the Croatian Catholic community, and that was just one messed up scenario because the guns and weaponry that came in had to come into Croatia. They were divvied up in the docks between the three forces, and they all went into the hills and fought each other. I mean, you're talking about these people, whoever they represent, whether it be Muslim or ADL or whatever. I mean, I was out there at the time where there used to be villages in the Balkans that were half and half. I mean, I'm primarily calling it the Balkans because it's people's respective borders to what country it actually belongs to. And you would have village communities who'd lived together for hundreds of years in total harmony, everything was great, and then whatever respective force was in the dominant mode at the time would pull up, and the houses out there primarily were made out of stone, and you'd get a knock at the door, and a family were given 2 hours because one of the forces that were moving into the village were of a certain creed and way of life. The family was given 2 hours to move out and get their possessions together and hit the road and head whatever way to, if they were of Croatian sympathies, they were to head towards Dubrovnik or Split or Zagreb, whatever was the best. And then other family would move in to that house, and that's how they operated. And if you decided not to move out, you were boarded in a flamethrower unit up. And I'm not going to ruin your show by getting the graphic, but you don't have to Einstein to work out what happened. And when the stone house would still be there, everything else was gone inside it. It would be cleaned out, given a lick of paint, the family was moved in. And that was happening in Europe in the early 90s. So, obviously, Ireland's been going on since the 1500s, etc. We've had the problems in Israel and Palestine for day one as well. But stuff like this was going on in the 90s and then going up to Albania and stuff like that. And it wasn't really reported because it wasn't good news sort of thing. And you see the way Turkey
with the benefit of social media, the way people's been able to tweet pictures and images that haven't been through corporation controls to let's see what's going on. I mean, I even seen Frankie Boyle actually retweeted David Icke's appearance at that conference at the weekend.
Did they?
Aye. So there's a lot going on, mate. But it was just to give a wee warning. I mean, obviously, you know me, I'm mad with the Twitter. And I know everybody in the chat room's quite social aware of what's going on in the world. But Alex Thompson was just tweeting about, obviously, the most famous Twitter account in the world at the moment and the stuff they're releasing, just for the fact to say to be careful mentioning it or talking about it, because he thinks it might be a bit dangerous to be quoting it, if you know what I mean.
Quoting what?
The Charlotte account.
Why? Because what? It's stolen information?
Well, stolen, maybe borrowed's a better word, or how it's been actually been. And obviously I've seen people tweeting you today about the stuff about your information was used, your call was used without permission being used.
What we talked on the one with Sandaza, aye?
Michael Sandaza, CSE, aye.
Yeah, but see when you put a call out there, right, in a public broadcast, right? That becomes, I've got no control, right? But the only way for me to cover my arse is to put it out as a public broadcast. But once you put it out as a public broadcast, it's
I'm not saying there's any. There was no problem, and obviously you were all above board. It's just the way that the journalists seem to find integrity when it suits them, if you know what I mean by
aye. I mean, if you look at that, I mean, it was all a hoax and I was a bastard and I was this and that. Yet when someone down in England is actually doing what journalists do, a bit of investigation and setting people up, if you know someone's corrupt, then offer them a chance to prove how corrupt they are, and then you can show to the world, well, here, there's what we're fucking dealing with. So that's all I went and done on that call. I showed the world as transparent as I could be. It was not my fault he came out and spoke and said what he did. It's not my fault after 2 minutes he told me his wages. I mean, I wouldn't tell anybody that if I knew him for 20 years, never mind 2 minutes. Yet here he was wanting to do that, really? and did it. And so all I did was set up a sting. I mean, look at the song I was playing for months. I do sting calls. I do sting. It wasn't a hoax. It wasn't a prank. You do a prank call, it was funny. Some people might say it was funny. It was a sting.
I mean, I think it's ironic that the Charlotte herself, for some reason, contacted three journalists and gave them a different sort of description to who they were and where they lived. And it's ended up that certain famous, I want to say famous, but popular supporters of other teams and Twitter accounts have got this information, and Charlotte now is able to has put out a tweet last night through his timeline saying, "Well, thanks for that. So I know who blabbed that one." As I say, that was the only thing Alex Thompson sent out, was just to say, just be very wary of what you're using on it, sort of thing, you know.
You see, I have not. I've lost track of it since last Thursday, last Friday. See all the stuff that came out. There was hour-long cassettes. Tony Cassidy has just sent me a message here saying who's Rafat, and I've got stuff on someone with that name somewhere. And he was part of the stuff, but I need to go and dig that out. I mean, I've not even listened to it. What one was that from? I mean, how many cassettes or how many hours of stuff have I got to listen to? But when I heard them saying an hour, I thought, shit, I can't be. That's you're having a giraffe. I've just grown sick of it, mate, because what is it proving? It's only proving to me something that I've already known, that the people there have been corrupt, they've been backing these shysters, the whole thing's rotten to the fucking core, and it's just time to get rid of it, or get this fucking done and get it out of there and get them clear the kludgy, but they're not doing it. Is it going to happen, bro? That's how I've gave up even trying to report it, try to decipher it, try to look at it. At what point are we moving on this forward? Has there anything been done to move it forward? You can tell me about it. I might take an interest. I might want to go and listen to stuff, because the new I ain't got no interest, pal. Help me out.
No, there's stuff being released, obviously, by the hour to me, and to me, I mean, putting it to a side.
Right, hold on, right, can you, sorry to interrupt. Right, can you take 5 minutes out the now to just run through everything that's happened since Friday, please? Can you take it back to then and what has come out? Because run it past me, because literally I ain't got no clue. Since Thursday, if you can.
There's been an audio. There was about 65 minutes of audio released.
By who?
No, I'll say allegedly, just to cover it, right? Allegedly, a meeting between Craig White and Charles Green, etc., like that, and then there's another 67 minutes released. Something with Paul Bryan, etc., allegedly, if it's already in there, and the workings of it. And to be honest, it's just talking. It's just a basic meeting with a few dangle things like mentioning McCoist and Craig White saying, oh, £750,000 a year, even though we're fucking 75 grand, he's fucking useless. And stuff like that. But the documentation coming out now is there's allegedly showing tonight there's been documentation, well, there was stuff released earlier on talking about the breakup of how the PR company running the whole spin, how they broke down who they were dealing with. This certain
Media House, you talking? Media House?
Well, yeah, there's a certain gentleman who you used to engage with who now lives in America, and he's prominent. But there seems to be a lot of everything allegedly from the SFA and various journalists.
Oh, hold on. Who did I used to engage with is now in America? Oh, King Darrow, aye, right. Oh, aye, sorry.
So there's an alleged train of thought that the SFA, there's documentation allegedly showing that the SFA and various journalists have sent what they were going to do as a press release in the press the next day to Ibrox and the media company for a tick in the box to make sure it was okay to release. And this is what the documentation this weekend's all been about. It's been the spin and all that. And obviously it goes on in every organisation, but there's stuff tonight. The Charlotte account just released stuff a few years ago, allegedly about deals with STV and the company. So it's starting to get. It's probably you'd enjoy it probably more than I do, because I text all my mates who I'm me on Twitter, and if I text in the links for it and they can open something up, the ones that get the modern phones for them, I'll still get fucking phones Tom Hanks using favourite private line for me. So I've got to give him descriptive phone calls, but no, it's going to get interesting, mate, because I think it's going to prove all our fears right, and how we run somebody like Paul Larkin says, we're running paranoid enough, mate. But I mean, reference this meeting tomorrow, the SFA is pushing forward this. It's going to take a 75% agreement to push stricter punishments for football teams and organisations and fans who are racist and do illegal chants and whatever, which is fair enough, but it's just the way they're pushing it through. And being the greatest administrator in the world is up for re-election again, and it's just there's too much going on, Tommy. I mean, I've been thinking about it tonight, obviously, like yourself. I mean, I've still renewed my season ticket, mate, because I'm totally disillusioned with it, and whereas they can do what they want, but I said to my mate on the phone today, Tommy, it's like 6 horses in a race, and we know the jockey on number 2, but number 4 is going to win every time, but we'll go in and put money in number 2. This is what we've been up against. But I would love to see that. For me, there's not been enough. Celtic can do all this Orpus Day, Marta sort of stuff. We'll fight on, we'll win. Celtic now is the biggest football team in Scottish football. If they turned up to that meeting tomorrow and says, now obviously there's technical here because of what they have to do about it. But I would love them to say, because we can afford to do it, we're going to take a year off and only play in Europe and play the exhibition matches, and not give the SFA or any other club in Scotland. Now that might sound a bit bullish and honeysh or whatever you want to call it, but just to say, we're having a year out of Scottish football, and we're just going to play friendlies at Celtic Park and give them money to charity, and tour around the world playing like Harlem Globetrotters for a year. Just walk it, Peter Lobel, whoever will represent this tomorrow at that meeting, just to go on and put that down on the table, because I think as a fan, and a lot of people might see other things, I know Paul Brennan put out quite quite a good blog today about it all, and you can say any of the CQN stuff is the stuff that's the board would love to come out and say, but can't. So I would just as a fan, I would like to finally see Celtic go to the table and crash their hands down, because that's maybe something they haven't done since Fergus McCann got people thrown out of the clergy over the George Cadet affair, mate, you know.
Have you got any spare Celtic ties? I'll put my suit on and I'll go in and do it myself then.
I've got a fantastic emerald green Louis Vuitton tie you can borrow.
Done,
I can't
right.
have any halal kebab styles on it.
Not a problem, mate. I'll eat before I put it on. Right, let's get it going. What time are we in there? I've got a 20 to 3 call for World Peace and EDL with the top two men. So can we get this sorted? Can I get the SFA closed down, the Cludgy shut, the Fourth Estate media shut, every zombie bastard put into a mental asylum, and we all live happily after? Can I get this done?
Well, I'll say, I mean, obviously, I'm going to be very careful who I'm mentioning now, because he's the man who nobody talks about, sort of thing. But a certain person who sort of has a big interest in football when we watch it. His name's appeared in a few emails allegedly in this account, and it's about people trying to get a spin on him.
Who are you talking about?
Well, he was at the same mass as he was sitting at the same masses as at St Mary's, and was sitting beside the gaffer.
Who? Lawwell?
No, higher up.
Desmond?
Aye. So
I'm lost here. I was just sending a message out to a brother at the time. What was the thing just before that? What was Lawwell? What was Dermot Dozen? What you said? Repeat it again. I don't know. I'm trying to do everything. I'm trying to make sure the show's going out. Somebody's saying good night to me on the Skype, and you're hitting me out with cryptic shit. Don't give me cryptic at this time around, planet, for fuck's sake. Right, go. Sorry.
Well, there was a conceived effort by the PR company to ask for a negative spin, and being in contact in certain newspapers and editors saying, "Oh, this story, this is a good spin for you," and it mentions the man's name. And obviously, I remember on Homeboys months ago, Paul Larkin telling a story about a certain journalist writing mentioning Mr. Desmond in a certain story, and the gentleman received a phone call on the Monday morning and went shot white, saying what he mentioned in the press, you know.
Well, I've no fear of mentioning Dermot Desmond. Mr. Desmond, if you're listening to me now, I want you to sell the club to me so we can return it 100% to the fans. And I think Celtic, he's done a good job so far, but he should give it back to the fans and take his do what you said, pull us out of Scottish football, because what good is it doing? Is it's corrupt, it's bent, get rid of it. It's a devious force of nature that has to be.
There's also a fantastic. You've been aware of it. Hopefully, I'll get it to you and you can retweet it. Somebody's put up the Green Brigade lads have put up the actual video of how the tifo was made for the cup final with the Brother Wilfred display, and how it was all put together, and then it's a montage to a bit of music, and then it's shown at the match with a bit of pyro. It's about 3.5 minutes, so that's a fantastic watch. I was going to tweet about it earlier on, but it sounded cheesy and corny, mate. But once again, they were at that Barcelona game, Tommy, but to see 125 years basically near enough to the day, that man's remembered. You know, other football clubs in Glasgow used to go on about dignity and stiff upper lip and Britishness, and you're still remembering a humble man filing to Fred Wayne's 125 years later.
Sorry, go.
What's that?
We're going to say the two highlights of the season were nothing to do with football. They were at the day before the Barcelona game in that chapel of chapels, and it happened there just last week, 2 weeks ago was it, on the anniversary of the first game, when ordinary people, Celtic fans to a man and woman, just did simple things to the graves of Celtic legends all across the world. And that, for me, Anthony Stokes putting that ball on Hooper, Celtic winning the cup, Celtic beating Barcelona, all the games mean nothing to me, honestly nothing. You could take it all, because next season And last season, I've been a Celtic fan. I've watched Celtic players, for Danny McGrain, Paul McStay, Henrik Larsson, and whoever's going to be the next generation. And I'll always be there. And if I'm not there, my family will always be there. But you know what? It's not about the football. It's about the people. It's about the players who put that jersey on and represented us, and it's about the fans who represent us, and about doing things in the right and proper way. And that's what we've always looked to do. Not about winning, not about being better than anybody. It's about doing things the right and proper way. And so I agree with you. Celtic should go in there and do the things the right and proper way. We have been cheated. We have been sold a second-class product by these bastards. And so we need to stand with a set of boys and go in there and say, fucking not in our name. We want justice here, no pissant fucking justice that they're offering. And we need to stand with a set of boys, because the people who started this club, they did it in the most terrible oppression. People were dying because they couldn't get food. That's why the whole club, the ethos, was started. It's a political club. We're not just a football club, it's about people. And when you stand there and you sit in a mass and you honour Andrew Kerrins and John Glass and Michael Devitt and all these people who did that, and then the people who put the jerseys on, you know, that's what it's people that make this club, and it's the fans. And
definitely, Tommy. I mean, it's the DNA. I mean, the people, as you say, there's been great players and they come and go, but I mean, you know yourself, Tommy. I mean, arguably, and I don't care, there's great Celtic fans around the world, but you heard yourself, far right, my pal Kevin's cousin. Thomas, who done the mass, the lady who was in that chapel, who was over 100 years old.
That's right.
But she was a Celtic fan. Listen, mate, you know what I mean?
That's right.
But I mean, as you say, for me, it's the boys and lassies in the section and the people who contribute, and everybody who gives them a horn, whether it be, well, I've held the banner myself at the Paris person and whatever, but the families have went there for generations, 3 or 4 or 5, 6 generations. You know, people who put the strip on, it's great, but they're just like, it's the people who sit in the stadium and represent the club, as you say, the people who put the flowers down and do the tributes and do all the charity work, and I mean
the Kano Foundation, the Ty Tims, the people.
Well,
you know,
the Lost Boys released that podcast, the first history podcast, last Friday, and it has. It's got on it Jim and Paul for the Celtic Grace, and obviously I was talking about this the other night Celtic team. So if anybody's heard it before, I'm awful sorry, but it's for a good cause, and they chartered the first 12 years of Celtic Football Club's history, how it started, and they were saying about the area behind the car park across the road for the St Ox Centre, between the Bridget and the toll booth, as we would call it, how that was the worst place in Britain for death with the fever, or the unfortunately named Irish fever, as it was prescribed in Glasgow by certain people. And it's a fantastic tour, listening, and that's what our clubs are all about, mate. You know, it's about people getting together. I mean, everybody's on Vegas at the moment for the convention. I mean, Jo, my mate, she's currently sitting in New York. She's at the through customs. She's got a big bag of tablet and macaroon and a Finza golf scarf for Chaz Duffy, who's listening in in Lower Manhattan as we speak. So it's quite surreal. So no, that's what it's all about, mate. You know, and it's
text me her number, we'll get her on. We need to get her on. We want her on. I want her on later on. Text me her number. I probably got her number here. I did. She was in the motor, wasn't she? I need to, just text me, because I need to dig it out. I've got two.
She was one of the boys CSC who terrorised you that night. We won the double, mate. Aye.
But she wasn't the one. She wasn't the one who was trying to force feed me the horse meat. She was the one who was trying to defend me, wasn't she?
That was crazy. Horse Princess Kay that done that. Aye, she's still in denial. But no, I mean, as I say that, I mean, the podcast, I think there's going to be 10 of them coming out, and Chris the same about it. They're trying to raise money for charity, and the Celtic Graves guys, the charity they've picked for appearing in is, they were very lucky, obviously, they were at the Mass, is the Archdiocese of Glasgow Theatre Group, who didn't really play on the stage.
You know, that thing actually helped make it as well, because that brought it to life. You mean, they could have put a video on there and something, but that actually brought it to life in front of us. That was kind of magical to see that there. Yeah, you're right. That was brilliant what they did. Absolutely astounding, because watching it, they were in the whole regalia, they were in all this stuff, and the way they did it. I thought at the start I had a feeling that, oh, this could be a bit corny, didn't it seem? But as you kept watching it, and it wasn't corny, it was perfect, you know.
I think, and they talked about this on the podcast, was the fact that, and you're right yourself, Tommy, obviously St Mary's is the second oldest Catholic chapels in the city, and it's the fact that when the Father White read out the names of all the priests who died in that parish, and they were all like 24, 25-year-old, and they were actually from Ireland and went to Glasgow for missionary work.
And they got the fever. They got the fever and died. They went there as missionaries.
They died, and they were talking about a gentleman. I think it's Dr. Conroy. If I've got his name wrong, I do apologise. And Dr. Conroy, and how he was offered a job in London as a physician, and knocked it back because he's seen friends and family dying of this thing, and he died at the age of 27, fighting it himself. So, you know, I mean, it's everything great about this club. And as I say, for me, obviously, you're right in saying that Mass, I mean, that 24 hours, and I'm not waiting in the cup final, because obviously I'm getting the fingers to the SFA, etc. But that 24 hours as a Celtic fan, Tom, I mean, you're lucky we're at the age, I've been on podcasts and said, we're at the age, we've seen the double team in 87, 88, 100th year, and God willing, and the Prophet willing, in your case, that we're here for the 150th year, mate. But to have that on our 25th, going to the Mass and then going to the Barcelona game the next night. But for me, I mean, the picture, the wee video thing, and I'll tweet a wee picture of it, and I managed to get a still of it, the Brother Lawford thing, and it was, as I said before, for me it was quite iconic that William Hill, the sponsors of the game, had offered displays to both clubs, and the Hibs fans, oh yeah, we'll take yours and put it up. And your fans, the Ultras and whoever else contributed, went, no, we'll do it with Rainlight, as we always have done for 125 years, and put on a world-class display and a wee bit of pyro. It's still Parrot lovers, you know, so I know it was good, mate. So, as I say, I'm still a bit disheartened with all this carry on, but to lighten it up a wee bit, we're getting a bit serious. I'm looking forward to the new forward line, God willing, to find Baldy and Bulgara. You get her, mate, the Sheriff. Would you reckon? D&D up front?
Well, I'm stuck on the thought of, let's see how we have seen a lot of bad stuff and we had to go through the 9 in a row and all the cheating, right? But if you look at it and if you think, well, 1988, I was 16 and that was 100 years, and then 125, and so just before that, so I mean, for me, I can remember, so going back, say, 10 years, so I can remember Celtic for 90 years on, for 90 years to now, so that's part of the history. I mean, it was just after we'd obviously had our main triumph, but the last 30, 40 years, it's been a wonderful time to be a Celtic fan. If you look over the grand scheme of things and look what happened in the last year with those bastards dying and suffering the way they have, and us getting to 125 years, beating one of the greatest teams in world history ever, and celebrating it in that fashion and in the way, you know, of everything that's happened. So, and you know, and being there in those momentous moments, you know, seeing Tommy Burns play, seeing us, you know, do the double in their centenary, seeing us stop the 10, and, you know, the time when they cheated us and were doing everything just to bury us, to kill us even, you know, and using banking fraud and cabalists to do anything. You know, they try to kill us. They try to kill us for the sake of, you know, peanuts in the terms of what they killed their own selves with, you know. So to actually be here and see it, you know, we are privileged, you know, and it's been a wonderful time as a Celtic fan just in the last year. But and even what makes us, I think, well, appreciate it, makes me anyway, I don't know about yourself, but certainly makes me appreciate it even more, is the fact that we went through such lean times and bad times, knowing that, well, you hear they bastards, or well, any times when I used to listen to Radio Snide, when you'd hear them, oh no, I'm giving up this, I'm not doing it because of this and that. But Celtic fans will always be there, you know, no matter what. And
my late father, I mean, he got arrested all, but he was always a certain age, and he went in the dark 50s and early 60s, Tommy, you know.
That would have been a hard time as well, that was hard.
But I used to walk my building at night and was talking about Celtic and all that. But Brian McClare was the team and all that was the bad text to a Celtic fan, and I'd be like, oh, if you only find this, you only find that. And my dad would just went, should have seen it in the 50s and 60s, you know, and we didn't really talk about it. And then obviously Stein came in and everything changed, and that team went on to be what it is, and to do what they did. And you heard Gary Molson had the gentleman on talking about it and saying how Celtic were, for about 5 years, the best team in Europe. You know, they might not have won the European Cup every year, but they were always there or thereabouts. And that's what I was mean. I remember when they won 9 in a row, and I was just thinking, oh my God almighty, I can't get any worse. And then obviously the 10th year started, and I remember I was in my house for like a good mate of mine, actually still was a very good friend with all his uncles, and they support the team that doesn't live anymore. And they laughed when one the tin walked in, you know, and they were like, oh, we're going to be about easier getting in, but you're this and you're that. And we stopped it, you know, and
you're away, he's gone. His pay and throwaway phone has just disappeared. He's offline. His pay and throwaway. Where did he go?
I lost you, what's happening, mate?
Pay and throwaway phone. What's the matter with it?
It's these iPhones, mate. The palm trees are the south side. Deflect the propagation of the ionosphere off it sometimes. That's as technical as I'll get for you. But no, I was saying that obviously, I mean, with good times and bad times, and we remember, for me, it all changed, and I know he's probably, hopefully no, but he probably will be away as Big Foster. And I remember I've said to you before, my pal from Germany was over, and she'd never been to a football game in her life. Her mum and dad were season ticket holders, or still are, at Borussia Dortmund, and she was over the day before her husband turned up. And I said, what do you want to do? She loves Glasgow, loves Scotland, and she used to be pals with a guy who supported the other team who played in Glasgow at the time. And she effectively before, she came out, she'd say, well, you one of these toy eaters? And I just sort of said, woof. I said, where's that come from? And she explained, and I basically had to sip it down to the connotations of it. And I said, well, you wouldn't go to a bar in Germany and tell a joke about the final solution, would you? She sort of looked at me with tears. She went, no, you wouldn't. I said, well, you don't sort of do that thing here. And I said to her, do you want to go to a football game today? And it was, got her a ticket. She was sitting with me, and it was enough in each game, the Hibs, when the rain came in sideways. And it was just, it was awful. And the only reason I got her into the ground is I told her she loved Jared Butler, and I told her Butler was in the game, at the stadium. And I ended up sitting, quite ironic now, I ended up moving the seat. I was in Old Celtic, and the game, there was about 45,000 there, and we ended up sitting up in the San Onesie seal in section 122, and she was sitting me basically with a perfect German eyesight looking out for Jared Butler somewhere, sort of thing, mate, you know. And then obviously the following week, when Fraser Foster saved that penalty against Hearts, when Big Wanyama scored, and that's, to me, that's when it really kicked in last year and only win the league. And this year, I know it's been coughing and spluttering, mate, but we've had some good times, pal, you know.
I hear you. Right, what time is it now? 12:10. Oh, have I got on? We're still going live here. Right, I hear, we'll send us Joe's number. Is Joe listening? Is she on? What's she on? I believe he's checked to Twitter.
Oh, you know, she's
get her on. Chaz here. Is you met up with Chaz or phone Chaz? What do you mean, no? Visit Riviera. We want to speak to Tim's. We want to hook up with a convention. Had they started at the end of the...
she's in New York for a few days, and then she's going down to Vegas. Usually there's tears poppers in the south and the north, mate. No got a penny. She's cutting a bit fucking Manhattan like Phil. She's cutting a bit fucking Manhattan like Phil Collins, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll get her on the phone. Get her number here. I want her on the line. If you don't give it, I'll track her down then. I'll track her down then. You're a lifetime ban to tomorrow then.
Oh, no, she's team iPhone, but we'd be better getting Chaz a Skype, because he'll be in the vicinity with her and his network over there. She'll probably get charged about £1 million if you call her.
Even better then. Let's get her called then.
fucking ruthless.
Right.
Right then, Gift Camp. So I'll talk to you soon, mate. If you're on the suicide tomorrow, give me a wee tweet.
Alright, God bless. Take care, right?
Alright, dedication, I'm out. Ta-ra.
Right, bye. Right, hold on. Yeah, before I do that, there's somebody I said they would get on. Hold on. Right, here, I'll play a wee tune, right? There's somebody here who want to share something. I don't know if it's too late. It might be too late, but USA time out today, they're still 5 hours, so they're still early time, right? But this person's in the UK. So what we'll do is back in two. Yo.
I take a couple lovers, I down a couple downers, but nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills. I've been to Mushroom Mountain once or twice, but who's counting? But nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills. Cool, calm, just like my mom, with a couple of Valium inside a palm. It's Mr. Mischief with a trick up his sleeve. Roll up on you like Christopher Reeves. I can't describe the vibe I get when I drive by 6 people and 5 I hit. Aw shit, I started a marsh pit, squashed a bit and stomped the foster kids. These shrooms make me hallucinate. Then I sweat till I start losing weight, till I see dumb shit start happening. Drumming and Vanilla Ice trying to rap again. So bounce, come on, bounce. I said come on, bounce. Everybody in the house with a half an ounce. Not weed, I make coke, dumbass, sit down. We don't want shit, better ask around. D12 throws the bombers bash in town. Cause all your mom is passing out. Get her ass on the couch but she crashes out. Come on.
Fuck that, someone help the nine. He's upstairs naked with a weapon drawn.
Hey, Vine, you see me stepping on these leprechauns?
It gotta be acid cause the X is gone.
Yeah, I took a more dog with some Parmesan, and I think my arm is gone.
God's probably dumb, and full of cum. And I think he about to swallow his tongue.
Scary ass, it was a false alarm. You think about to die when I just got on?
Well, stop acting stupid. You so high that you might wake up with a guy on some new shit.
Yeah, I think I did too much. This substance equals cuffs. Red pills, blue pills, and green. Big pills, masculine.
I take a couple lovers, I down a couple downers, but nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills. I've been to Mushroom Mountain once or twice, but who's counting? But nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills. 30 dozen, 80 of us, shady brothers, ladies lovers. That's why our baby mothers love us, but they hate each other. They probably wanna take each other out and date each other.
A man walks down the street, he says, why am I soft in the middle now? Why am I soft in the middle? The rest of my life is so hard. I need a photo opportunity. I want a shot of redemption. Don't want to end up a cartoon in a cartoon graveyard. Bone digger, dogs in the moonlight. Far away, my well-lit door. Mr. Beer Melly, get these mutts away from me, you know. I don't find this stuff amusing anymore. If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. I can call you Betty, and Betty, when you call me, you can call me out. A man walks down the street, he says, why am I short of attention? Got a short little span of attention, and all my nights are so long. Where's my wife and family? What if I die here? Who'll be my role model now that my role model is gone? He ducked back down the alley with some roly-poly little bat-faced girl. All along, there were incidents and accidents, there were hints and allegations. If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. I can call you Daddy, Daddy, when you call me, you can call me out.
Hello?
Hello,
Hello, Tommy.
Agent Rockefeller. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, Tommy.
How are you keeping? Did you manage to do your stuff on the radio there, or did they not get back to you?
They haven't got back to me. I think I'm blacklisted.
Oh, well, what happened then? I've not spoke to you since the Bilderberg. You obviously made it. Did you make it down there? You're back safely anyway. If you did, how did it go?
It went well. It was a bit of a trek down there, but
as I was just about to go on to the grounds of the Grove, I saw Alex Jones leave for a pre-planned stunt, and met the organizer. And then once I went inside, past the metal wands that the police had set up, I met a few people. I met Mark Anderson, who is the late Jim Tucker's successor at the American Free Press for covering Bilderberg. I met Danny Shine, formerly of the Love Police, and his absurd brand of comedy, anti-New World Order comedy. I met Brian Garish of the UK column. Very briefly, I met him. I also met and had photos with members of InfoWars, such as Paul Joseph Watson and Leanne McAdoo. And then about 2 o'clock or so, we could see this barge going right through the middle of the Grove, past the free speech zone area, between the free speech zone area and the Grove itself, was Alex Jones with a megaphone on the Builder barge, shouting anti-New World Order slogans. I was encouraging people to chant Alex Jones slogans, and it was the most entertaining yet most surreal experience of my life, because we could hear his voice out of the bushes, but we couldn't see him, and it was like a wildlife documentary. Just this disembodied voice of Alex Jones coming out with all sorts of statements.
And how close did they get to the Grove? Did they get ambushed? Did they find them, or what happened?
They went through the river. They were hassled by police, but there were no arrests. And the police, on the whole, the ones I met were pretty decent. Some of the ones by the canal, though, from the We Are Change videos that day, were a little more menacing and thuggish.
But it passed all safely for yourself. You got down there, in there, you met all these people, and was it quite busy? I mean, when you got there, I was watching a video from someone there earlier on in the day. I think it was about 11 o'clock in the morning, 10 in the morning, and it was just people pitching up and getting there. What time did you get there at, and was it quite a lot of people there?
I got there about 20 past 2, so the Builder barge stunt would have been around 3 o'clock, 3:30.
Right.
So, yeah, I actually did get to speak to Alex Jones on briefly 2 occasions, shook his hand twice, on his nerves. Good. But well, it's not good because I'll get to why it's not good, but I probably wasn't as bad as the guy there with the Bible who kept hassling him every time he came onto the protest zone with a Bible in one hand, telling Alex that he wasn't doing enough to lead people to Jesus. And from what I saw there and what I experienced, whether you love him or you hate him, whether you agree with him or you don't, Alex Jones is one of the most professional people I've ever met. He had apparently not eaten since 6 in the morning, so he'd gone nearly 12 hours without food. It was hot with the odd rain shower. He had people coming up to him, such as myself, asking for his autograph and whether he got birthday cards I'd sent him, or giving him SD memory cards of me slagging off Matt Ford on TalkSport, and people asking for a photograph with him. He did it without complaint, and he was very jolly with everyone. The big news that day was that, according to sources that Mark Anderson and Alex Jones had, Cameron was going to attend Bilderberg that day.
And did he?
Yes, apparently he did. And lo and behold, earlier today, he pretty much came out in favour of Britain staying in the EU, because the three things that were at the top of the Bilderberg